All right, welcome everyone. We're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we're here for
Skip Beat, episode 22.
Oh,
Soap operas.
Yes.
Oh
yes.
boy.
Dark Moon.
Dark Moon, yes. Gwendolyn, get in here.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, because it is time. It is time to darken the sky. Because, soap operas can get real complicated. And unlike with traditional soap opera situations where you can spend 13 seasons getting to know exactly all the intricacies of how everyone's related to Hoobity-Ha or whatever, and, you know, who died and who got brought back to life through occult magic, we're thrown into this. And Kyoko, you're in the hot seat.
Yeah, you have no space or anything. You have this woman bearing down upon you with the fury of 20 years of having this character, maybe even have been her whole identity.
Oh, yeah, going to cons and signing merch and,
Yeah, exactly. Depending on how big this character is in her career, you know, I totally get where this comes from.
Yep.
But you have a really good way in which Ren might even buy his faith in you, and also the way that he does, like, care about you and stuff, even though he doesn't know how to communicate it. Has set you up to potentially succeed in a really cool way by you showing off what you're capable of.
Right.
Because I would say you know how to understand a character's deeper emotions pretty well.
Very well.
But this is partially an aspect of where you're going to need to create the character.
Right.
And so if there's something that has been misinterpreted slightly, even by yourself or maybe even by the other people and stuff, you can get at some nuance that will not just be oh, I'm better than everybody else because I understood the character better, but maybe you also show something that's different about the character and makes these two kind of aspects of the character able to coexist at some point.
Right, because at the end of the day, the director wanted you in this production.
I think the casting was immaculate.
The casting was immaculate, and the director is the one who gets the final say.
Right.
You are doing a good job of holding your own in this unreasonable ask.
Yes.
If you can pull something out of your ask, then great. But, you know, this might be a bit tough.
This might be a bit tough.
Yeah.
But without further ado, let's get into this. No reason. Why did she bully her then? Director says, that's nice. How about no? My dad fired people? Okay, you're fired for,
we actually have a backup for the mom. The mom isn't as important of a character.
Yeah, I think part of the thing that I was thinking about, like, since, recording the previous episode, is that the reason why she's not actually capable of following through on, like, some kind of direct threat of, like, I'll walk or what have you, is because it would actually be a pariah for her. But she knows that he wouldn't have the guts as the director to do that. So she can kind of, like, not exactly threaten.
Right.
So it's something where, in a lot of ways, she's probably doing things in such a way that she knows she wouldn't be able to get away with if it was his dad being the director. Which means in some ways the director needs to grow up a little bit through this experience as well.
Which, hey, if we have a thing where the director also goes on an arc, I love that. Like, because he was fun. Like, he had a fun introduction, so getting more of that understanding of the ins and outs of show business and the way that beef can just start because you have a lot of egos in the room and everything.
Yeah.
And you need someone to basically come in and be like, hey, no, shut up. Work.
Yeah. It is interesting, though, how him being a young director brings in the potential stuff of nepotism, but also the way in which seniority in culture like this can be something that extends beyond, like, even your work role.
Right.
Ah!
Ooh, that's a title.
Yeah, of course not. You can't get fired by fellow actress.
That's a, yeah. Yeah, maybe just a bit.
Oh, no, it's okay, Kyoko.
I mean, he doesn't know. That's not his character.
Yeah.
内気で引っ込み思案っていうかネクラですよね。
Is this one of those things where she can't see it because it's too similar to her?
Yeah. Yeah, she never had anybody appreciating her. Yeah. Oh, so maybe he does know. Okay.
I mean, hey, empathy for the character is the first thing, and it's an important thing. Also, if he gave you an answer, then it wouldn't be yours.
What? No way! Oh my gosh! I have never seen that in anime ever. Like,
and
what?
she clearly wouldn't believe it. Like, he'd just be talking nonsense to her, basically. So.
Right, but she just like heard it, but it doesn't register. Doesn't matter. Good. I'm glad they're bringing this up. Yeah. Huh.
She hates herself? What? Right. So theoretically, that could be a connection point. Sure.
Well, that was what you already brought up, so...
Right, because the pattern was established.
Because the pattern was established with the sister.
Exactly, and so, but that taught it to her, and so now she's doing it even when the mother isn't.
Whoa.
Could someone blow up like that? Oh my god, you're right there.
Reflecting on yourself and your own. Cool, so she's now created a character that's not necessarily...
Oh!
She's method acting! Oh.
She did know you were there.
Oh, are we literally waiting on her for a scene that she has to do?
Oh, damn.
Because you could... Yeah, there's probably other scenes that you can do.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you're going to listen to this star's opinion, listen to mine.
Yep.
Yeah. Is that love?
Oh. Besides, the reality of the situation is she's not here right now.
Yeah, also...
We're basically setting money on fire with every second we do nothing.
Oh! The side-scrolling video game boss. Yep. Oh my god. What the hell?
Okay, that is funny though.
Bring her out.
Pull out that knife and cut a bitch.
Oh. Yep, doesn't want to lose. And she's back. And we don't get to see the resolution of that little bit there, yeah.
Wait. Wait.
No way.
The hair looked shorter.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
What?
I love it.
That's her style, too.
Yeah.
That's Kyoko's hairstyle.
Uh-huh.
Oh my gosh.
Awesome.
その髪型じゃ顔の傷を隠せないじゃない。傷を見られないように髪で隠してるのよ。
Is she gonna respond in character?
Yeah.
Just shut her down. I love it.
Yeah.
Nope.
She's fully become the character. Yep. He knows.
Yep.
この世で最も憎悪をする姉。その姉の声を聞いてミオの目だ。憎悪をもっと内にくすぶらせ、静かに燃やしているだけだって。
Oh.
This Mio has fire and brimstone.
既成のミオのイメージを根底から覆してる。暗雲を吹き流す風を期待している。だけどこれは風なんて
This is a storm.
竜巻だ。
Oh my god.
Awesome.
Now the promo material does show her with long. No, that's Mizuki. So no, it's perfectly fine.
でもあのミオじゃ無理だろう。髪を切ったせいでビジュアルで性格を表現できない分、かなりの演技力を必要とされるぞ。自分で自分の首絞めてるよ。
Yeah, high
she'll
risk,
have
high
to-
reward.
Yeah, she'll have to have more complex acting.
そんな判断もできないの？
And also, this is perfect because the mom hates her. Like,
Whoa.
the actress hates her.
Sure.
You know, so
あのミオの解釈には疑問を持っています。役作りも初めての彼女が一人で一生懸命
Dang.
Yeah.
So Ren is still going to bat for her.
okay.
彼女の芝居を見た
Cool.
上で
All right.
お出ししてくれませんか。
Yeah, this is really tough. Because this is what Ren's direction was to do, was to look for those little, like,
僕には
things in the
京子さん
middle
の
and
あの目
stuff.
は使えない。
始めて構いません。
お願いします。
Yeah, because she legitimately hates her. Their scenes will be fantastic.
ミオ？ミオ？ミオ！ちょっと無視する気？呼んでいるのよ。返事くらいなさい。ミオ！
Okay.
私のことを呼んでいらしたの？お母様。
呼ばれたら返事なさい。
なんなのよ。まるで気ぐらいの高い金持ちのお嬢様だ。名家で資産家のお嬢様だ。でも内向的な性格のミオに気ぐらいの高さなんか。
ずっとミサオお姉様を呼んでいらっしゃると思う。ミオとミサオ似てるんですもの。
Whoa.
お姉様がどれほど可愛かったか知りませんけど、私にはもっと違う名前をつけてくださればよかったのに、一文字抜けただけで随分出来が違うんだな、お母様。
世のくせに母親であるこの私に。
Yeah, Ren's locked in watching this.
Yeah.
プライドがあるからこそ感じるんじゃないのか。
Well, she was competitive, so yeah, she must,
Yeah.
by definition, have had pride.
オリジナルのミオの荒探しじゃないか。それもちょっと京子さん寄りの思想で。
Whoa.
捉え方一つで京子さんのミ
I want to see this show. Like,
Yeah.
私はこんなミオなんて認めない。絶対に元のスタイルに戻してやる。今のあなたは人からもっと笑われるわよ。好奇の目にさらされたくなければ以前のように髪を伸ばしなさい。
はっきりおっしゃってくださって構わないのよ。本郷の娘にはふさわしくないって。
確かに。
yeah, I like it.
Right.
That bit of improv because of how things are different. Yeah.
わざわざ自分から他人に見せる必要などどこにもないでしょ。
ミオの母親ならそう返す。
Cool, cool. Now they're actually, like, gelling with the scene together.
Yep.
他人に見られたくないと思いながら、なぜあの傷をそのままにしておく？なぜ娘の傷を治すために使わないのか？それはミオ自身がそれを望んでいないからだ。
醜い心が見えるんでしょうね。
Yeah, it says more negatively about you guys than it says anything about me.
Yeah.
この傷を見るたびにお姉様の美しいお
Oh.
醜く歪むよ
Oh, kawaii koto. Yeah.
普通にでも耐えるみたい
Oh.
Social
Oh.
link rank up.
That was Mio right there.
Uh-huh.
あのミオは
I love it.
コンプレックスであるはずの傷を姉を責める武器にするなんて
Especially since her sister pushed her.
監督大丈夫ですか
Like, that makes sense.
大丈夫です動機とめまいとそれが止まらないだけで
Yeah.
京子さんのミオは彼女のミオは使えない
Ah.
初めは
What?
But now, yeah, you just gave me a lot of heat to cook with.
ミオの矛盾をことごとく打ち消して
Wow.
彼女を否定させな
Wow.
あの感情の激しさが
Oh.
ミオこそ正しいような気にさせてしまうんでこんなこと初めてですこんな体中の血が沸騰する感じは
That's awesome.
ドラマを撮りたくてこんなに胸がうずく感じもあそこに
Yeah, I want to
Yeah.
see where this new Mio goes because she's not
Yeah.
that
生まれ変わ
Mio.
った新しいミオなんだ
And injecting this kind of energy into the production,
僕が彼女の生きていける
no one will be
Whoa.
able to call it a soulless cash grab.
20年前とは違う
Yeah, some people will not like it too. Like
ダークムーンを
fun. Okay, giving the whole
Nice.
episode to
Yeah.
the display of what this new Mio will look like. Yeah.
I
Fun.
appreciated that we got that in-depth look at it, both from the understanding the source material, but then also with the idea of, yeah, how would you not just make a character your own, but persuade other people that it's yours? And I can't believe I didn't think about the idea that, oh, the character of the mom hates Mio, and the actress of the mom hates Kyoko.
Yeah, there you go.
This is perfect.
Yeah, and it's something that's easier for Kyoko to probably channel that energy into then the acting that she'll give. She needed a good partner in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
She probably wouldn't have been able to do this with Ren necessarily.
Sure.
Maybe she could have, but not to that extent. But wow.
Yep.
In a lot of ways, this was also really fast, given that we're now just going to be probably shooting with this.
Right. Like,
And there's not much really to show about that would need to be focused on, really.
right. But there is going to be stuff with Ren. So,
True. Yeah. You can get into his stuff within the show, yeah.
way to go, Kyoko.
Yeah.
You did good. You did really damn
You
good.
made a new character here. And this is partially like the tougher thing to do, not just because you're drawing your own conclusions about the character,
Yep.
but you're doing this in such a way that, yeah, the director was almost forced to pull you off the project because you were doing the exact opposite of what Moeko told you to do. You were doing more of what Ren told you to do. And this is the kind of thing that, if you're not up to snuff, gets you canned, basically.
Right.
And so it's not just because she's a great actress that she was able to do this, but I think in a lot of ways, Kyoko understands this feeling a lot more because of her situation with
Yes.
things there. Yeah.
And the fact that Ren was able to cover for you basically and buy you the good faith to see you actually be able to like put it to the test and everything is really important, because even it could have been something that would have been awesome, and he's just like, no, you're a newbie, no, that's not what I'm looking for, just don't do that, do it as written,
Yeah, and that's also on the back of the fact that making a character yours is probably, one thing, but being able to do that like consistently, when you just like made up most of the bounds and aspects and characteristics of the character, this is still a risk for the director to give. So this performance needed to not just be adequate, it needed to blow his mind, which it did.
And I love how they sold it to us.
Yeah, because if Mio's scar was not actually the source of her inferiority complex, but because of the actual ways in which she was treated from
Yep.
then
the scars
whole story, like up
Yeah.
till the actual TV show starts.
Then the scar is just one more thing on top of it.
Yeah,
and
the scar is just
so she's going to use it.
well, the scar is just hers.
Yeah.
It's something she can actually
Right.
gain some benefit
It's
from.
a point of pride to herself that she so showed up her sister in this hyper competitive, you versus her environment that the mom set up. That she pushed you off a cliff, but you didn't get rid of me, bitch.
Yeah, I lived, and also, memes aside, the idea that this is something that she can brandish at the family to show why she hates all of them because
Yep.
this happened under your watch, and you don't care at all.
Nah.
This says way more about you
Than it does
than it
about
does about
me.
me.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways, I love my scar is my source of strength. Because in a lot of ways, scars are the reminder that you survived, that you made it through
Yeah.
that tough thing, right? But they can also be a reminder that you're still living through the pain. So you could take that through
sure.
my life is suffering right now. But you could also flip that perspective into, no, I am an active, constant survivor.
Right.
I am going forward in spite of the pain.
Well, and when the idea that if you really had it out for people, and you knew that, hey, this thing that I'm doing is not necessarily in my best interest.
Sure.
But when I look at the balance sheet, it costs them a lot more than it costs me. You have some asshole on the road that, brake checks you and it's like, but your car is way more expensive than mine. Oh no, I didn't brake in time. The dude slammed on his brakes, darn, right?
Yeah.
Like that's the kind of gas that she's cooking with here. And especially for one, a soapy show.
Oh, yes.
And two, for a character that's a teenager, yes, that will absolutely work.
Yeah, it'll work, but this is one of those areas where I am hopeful that she will just do everything well because we've had the scene effectively of her showing that she can do it. But more intense, over the top acting can also look like overacting if you're not
Yes.
good at it. I hope that gets brought up a little bit because if she feels like she doesn't fit in the story based on the acting style of what everyone else is doing,
Yeah.
she can really stick out like a sore thumb in a negative way. But because
Right.
the show is not usually that complex with a lot of its things that it brings up, I could see them just kind of hand waving that away and she just succeeds perfectly on all this stuff from here on out.
Right.
And it's primarily then just about how well Ren does in his part in the show.
Yeah, they introduce method acting as the this is a new skill, some, the hyper flow state, giga mode that she unlocked. And it's like, oh no, that's
This
being
is
method. That's a thing that a lot of people will do.
I would say most everybody does it for a little bit.
Right.
But
yeah.
again, you do it for a little bit just to kind of rev yourself up.
Well,
But if you rev yourself up and you don't get enough out of it,
yeah.
then you can't act. So it's one of those areas where Kyoko getting this as a notch on her belt shows to us, the audience, that not only can she act a scene specifically, but she can act a character in such a way that it's held to the whole way through. And that was what with the director saw in the commercial, was that she became that character. She became a new character in that regard. And if he can then, in combination with Kyoko, keep her in line with that, use that as a reference point, I'm sure from the full production side of things, she'll be able to do it for the most part. I just still would love it to be a thing that actually takes some more learning and maybe some more educating on our part of just things that we can know about why this does work versus like
and
how it's just going to automatically work for the rest of the show.
And since it's something where she is still taking creative liberties, there are other variables that can be brought into play, and that's a way that then the director can be relevant, because it's cool, you're bringing in this new thing. It's good enough that, all right, you've convinced me, we'll make this work, but certain things will change. Right. Comments like the mom being like, oh my God, why do you have your hair like that, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, that makes sense. That might not be in the original material because, well, she didn't have short hair. But, if she did have short hair, that's something that they'd say. Mm-hmm. One of the things that I feel like could be kind of fun here, but I don't think that the show will necessarily go into this, but it could, is the idea of, 20 years later, remake, all that stuff. Oh, you want to basically surpass the original because you want to show that it's not just a cash grab or something like that, right? This is a passion project, right? But one of the things that you could also get into maybe with things where it's different, it's but it's not like the thing that I liked, and so then people might go into it predisposed to not like this Mio because it's different than what they are used to. Yeah. But
no, that's what I'm saying, is that in a lot of ways, this is not just an easy one and done thing.
Right.
A lot of this is going to come down to how well you can bring everybody else along in your scenes with you, to making this experience good for them as actors and actresses as well.
Right.
So, all in all, I hope this arc just goes more in depth into this stuff, because this is a great moment for Kyoko as a person.
Yeah.
It still leaves a lot open as far as the arc for
the show
TV
as a
show
whole.
Of Dark Moon and all that.
Mm-hmm.
Which, the idea that the scar being something that was covered up showcased this complex combination of being self-centered but without pride is an interesting thing, because the way they described her felt a bit like she fit in a soap opera show.
Yes.
And I was trying to, even myself, think in the previous episode, I can't fully envision this character. She seems a little bit too extreme and unrealistic. And so the idea that they were like, no, that was what made her so good, was that she was subtle and nuanced. And I'm like, but that doesn't sound like who she was.
Right. Yeah. And maybe this is a clever way that they decided to have things go, in that since we are going to have Kyoko basically have her Mio upstage the previous Mio and supplant it in the director's mind and all that stuff, then don't give us as concrete of an understanding of the old Mio, because it's going to be supplanted, right? And so that way we're getting that for us, the audience, as well as an experience, not just as a, mental understanding.
And I really do like the idea that she's playing a different Mio, because in a lot of ways, what I was expecting them to do, and I was kind of right here with this, is that it's not about her making a better Mio. It's about her making a different Mio, so that both versions can exist in the fans' minds, but also in the, this doesn't harm your reputation, because she's not trying to say that she's a better actress than you by playing your Mio better. She's taking a whole different approach of things, because remember, this is not just a true remake. They are modernizing it. They made a point that this is in the modern era. So the setting and time and all that stuff could be reflected in things like, Mio's hair is a bit more chic and less, traditional and long and stuff.
Right.
And therefore you get a much more aggressive Mio, a much more... you're not taking away some of her character attributes, but you're just dialing up certain other ones and turning down other ones.
Right.
To where it's still the same mixture of things, but the numbers are slightly adjusted.
If you're... Which makes total sense, because if you're changing it to be the modern day, the ways that the characters will be as people should be different.
Culturally,
because they culturally grew up in a different time, right? That... If you didn't have that, that'd be kind of odd. And if it's a difference of, say, 20 years maybe, because it was the modern day when the previous show came out or something like that, that's less obvious than 200 years. But, if the 200 years, that's where it's clearly obvious.
Well, then remember, this is source material.
It comes into play.
Well, remember, this is source material as well.
Oh,
so
sure.
odds are that it's probably another 5-10 years or so before
that. Yeah.
Before that. So you could even get through multiple layers of,
Yeah.
separation in that
Right.
regard.
Just getting into what it means to have that bit of teenage rebellion in Japan, in the 90s versus, the 2010.
2010s or
yeah,
2020s,
exactly.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
obviously this is,
Yeah, the show and then the
show,
manga.
and then there's the misdirection of what actual
right.
era that this is in. So
Yeah.
lots of stuff to get into that regard. But yeah, really, really fun episode. Having Ren like triple down to support Kyoko
Yeah, that
is
was
really
cool.
fun, because that's also in combination with the same episode where our boy Yashiro full on just said, "It's because he loves you." Just didn't
I love
register at all. I don't think I've ever seen that in anime, where a character literally says in explicit detail that another character that
Is
they know
in love with
is
you.
in love with you, and
Yeah.
the reason why she didn't hear it was she was so focused on something else that she doesn't even acknowledge it. We don't know for sure whether she heard it or not,
Sure.
and it never.
But even then-
never getting followed up on.
Right, but also it being something where like that's not something that she's necessarily thinking about, right? That would all be stuff that they've talked about and
Totally.
whatnot. So she's not going to be listening for that, right? Like, maybe talking from personal experience here, but when you're like hoping that someone will say the L word, and so then they say something similar and you're like, wait, what? No, okay.
Okay.
But yeah, that was wonderful, and yeah, the fact that it was a side character saying it, so
Right.
it's not even like cheating out hey, they finally worked up the courage to
The
confess.
moon?
Yeah. Oh, interference by fireworks.
Right.
No. This is a side character that's just like this
He
is
yells it out, like blurts it in
this
her
is
face.
some bullshit, right? And so
Yeah,
I'm gonna
yeah.
try and fix this.
No,
Nope.
no.
Stars can't do it. Not today.
Not today. Oh my
Yeah.
god, ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. But yeah, I am excited for this show.
Also, I just gotta say, the look of Kyoko in her full Mio outfit, sitting there with like the chibi faces, she's dour and downcast, but also kind of upset and angry as she's like,
Drawing in the
yeah,
sand.
like making a little circle in the dirt.
bullying me
That they used it
perfectly.
and thankfully thoroughly in this episode because I loved it.
Yes.
It was great.
Wonderful. But all right, y'all. Thank you so much for watching this episode's reaction and discussion. If you want to see the next episode's reaction and discussion right now, though, go check out the link in the description below for our Patreon. You get an early access there. You can watch full-length timer reactions there, and all this comes with Discord access, so you can chat with us in the community there about this show, about anime in general. Also, be sure to check out our Twitch channel. See if any of that interests you. We'll see you there. But until then, we're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb,
I'm Jacob.
and we'll see you all
next time.